Man, what a week it's been for Xbox. From the price hikes of consoles, of the Xbox Game Pass service, as well as some FTC putting a restraining order on Xbox, restraining them from purchasing Activision for the next, I don't know, couple of weeks or something, to more Starfield news. And this video we're gonna react and discuss Todd Howard's interview on the Xcast on Kind of Funny Gaming's YouTube channel, where they had him, and he confirmed pretty much a lot of things. But yeah, let's check it out and let's discuss it. Welcome back, guys, to another YouTube video. And if you are a lover of gaming such as me, whether it's PlayStation, Xbox, PC, no matter what platform, do consider hitting that subscribe button. I put out a video every week on the latest gaming news or discussion videos like this. I put out discussion/reaction videos on gaming, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, PC, whatever. So yeah, if you're into discussion videos and you want to get discussing the latest and greatest games, hit that subscribe button, guys. I put out a video every week. I do occasional live streams as well. And yeah, let's get into the video. So Uncle Todd Howard was on Xcast this past week, when it was a Thursday or something, and he pretty much confirmed some of mine, as well as a lot of people's speculations and concerns that they had after the Starfield Direct showcase. He either confirmed it, we put our minds to ease. But yeah, there's a lot to get into. Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. Let's get into it. So first, we're going to start off with the accessibility.
Of course, a big one that Xbox has been pushing on the XCast side of things is accessibility. And of course, you and your team have been doing this for many of years. You've worked on these settings. Xbox, it's a big drive for them right now, is the accessibility program and making sure everyone can play around the globe. You talk about players first. What is it like creating a game that's so big and has so many systems, and also mixing it?
Yeah, if you don't know, the Xbox ecosystem basically is play anywhere on anything that has a screen, basically. So on your TV, your phone, your cell phone, your Steam Deck or your ROG Ally, your Xbox, your PC, whatever. So the question is, will the game be accessible on those other platforms?
In accessibility settings, is there something that stands out to you this time around?
Well, first, I think Xbox has done an incredible job there with everything they've done with accessibility and their controller in particular. You asked it. One thing that we're really leaning in on with this game is having a large font mode, which really is important in an RPG where there's a lot of stuff to read. So it comes into play.
I hope not too much.
Obviously,
This game is probably going to have a lot.
Monitor sizes. I'm noticing that that's really helpful when I play. There's a lot more handheld devices coming out where you can stream these games or sometimes even play them natively, and it really helps us there as well. So that's one in particular that we're leaning in on.
That's sweet. That's sweet. And you talk about handheld. Can you share with us, is it Steam Deck compatible? Is that something you focused on, or is that something we share later down on the road?
That's later
We'll
down
talk
the
about
road.
that later down the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, what does that mean? That means for Steam Deck users, the game probably would not be playable day one on the Steam Deck. It's probably going to need some patches and some work for it to be accessible on the Steam Deck, and I assume as well as the ROG Ally, because that's in the same category there. So Steam Deck users and ROG Ally users, yeah, you're going to have to wait a while before the game's accessible there.
Because there's a lot of cool stuff, Gary. And I want to get into being a space pirate, but I want to talk about the first steps, creating the character. You guys have now
character
pushed
creation,
backgrounds
skills and
traits
backgrounds
into the fold of things. And of course,
yeah, which is
we
big.
had the stars before in Elder Scrolls. What is it like now putting traits and backgrounds? What are some of your favorites, and what kind of uniqueness did you be able to bring into that?
That's going to be very unique, having the backgrounds and the traits and things to your character customization, because it's going to unlock special dialogue options, special missions and things like that. And I hope that it doesn't just open some new dialogue options depending on the traits or characteristics you chose. There should actually be some special missions that involve those traits, and that you get special kind of abilities in that's only tied to those traits and backgrounds in there, and you get some background story to it. So I'm hoping it's not just some new dialogue options that's available. From what we saw in Starfield Direct, where, like, for example, there was a particular cult that wanted to attack us, but because that player chose that particular trait or religious trait to that, they, those pirates, like, basically let them go. So things like that, but it's got to be mission specific as well.
I think for us, we've done a number of games, obviously, over the decades that have various character systems. And I think we've learned a lot in terms of how does it feel when you start a game? What are those first choices like before you understand what the actual rules of the game are? That's always a trick to get right. And then how much depth does it have if
There we
you're
go.
playing for 20 hours or 50 hours or 100?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. How much depth does it have? I mean, that's perfectly sums it up. The question is, how much depth is the skills and the traits and background aspects that you put to your character? How much depth is it going to have into the game, into the long run, the longer you play? Because remember, this is a massive game that you'll be playing for weeks and months on end. So it's got to have, the depth of it has to be long lasting throughout the game, if you know what I'm saying.
100 hours or 500 hours. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think we've hit a real sweet spot with Starfield
Okay.
with giving you that flavor right out of the gate, where you are going to pick some starting skills with your background, but
Yeah.
that also has flavor. People want to role play. They don't want to just see it
Yeah.
as a list of numbers. I'm a chef. Okay, what can a chef do? How does that factor into
Okay, that's sounding
dialogue
good.
or other choices in the game? And then, so that's the backgrounds and the traits. It's a little bit of a original fallback, throwback to that, to Fallout, excuse me, and then say these are optional. They come with positives, they come with negatives, and you saw some of that in the direct with the adoring fan and some other ones. The parents is a really, really great one that we all love. So it lets you, if you're going to start over, even play the game in a different way.
Can I follow up on that really quick?
Okay,
just
cool.
staying along those lines of the skill tree, there's also the ranking system in there as well. Can you kind of
Yeah.
elaborate on that a little bit too?
Yeah, sure. Those, and what we've given ourselves there is a lot of flexibility and flexibility to the player. First, we have the visual, right? I actually love these patches, badges that can go
Yeah,
on a spacesuit and
that
how
looks
they
pretty
unlock.
cool.
And then they're tiered. So as opposed to being a strict kind of tree you have to go down, you can say, I want to focus in technology, and then the different tiers of skills will open up, and it gives you flexibility within that. There's 5 of them. You saw that in the direct. And we are finding here, what you always want is when people are talking about the game, that they're saying, did you know you can do this? Or they're comparing characters, and those character builds and those stories.
Yeah, everyone's gonna
will
have a
be very,
different
very
build.
unique for each person in that conversation.
So everyone's gonna have a
Get
different
Jez
build.
Corden's stupid question out of the way. I said I would ask it. So Todd, just so you understand the background here, when we tweeted out that you were going to be on the show, Jez Corden, our friend from Windows Central, responded and said, "Oh, will you ask Todd this particular question?" And Paris just flat out just said, "I'm not asking him that." So then he DMs me. I don't know, he thinks I'm an easier mark or whatever. It wasn't his first choice, but maybe an easier mark. It's actually not that stupid a question because it's a big open world game. Todd, is there any form of space fishing? Is there any kind of fishing activity that you can do? Because in open world games, that is.
There's probably gonna be something like
common.
that.
And in fact, it's maybe not that.
Any concern that
I don't really
I've heard
care about
recently
fishing.
Starfield, it's been about
Here we go.
handcrafted versus procedural. So obviously, with
okay.
1,000+ planets.
So I know there's gonna be 1,000 planets, and we know there's going to be procedurally generated planets, but Bethesda came out and said that there will be handcrafted things, environments and things like that on these planets as well. That not everything is procedurally generated. So that's a very good question. So the thing is, Todd is going to explain more or elaborate more what it entails.
And as a lot of it's going to be procedural. And you even talked in the direct about there will be kind of breadcrumbs along the way with handcrafted things that you'll be able to do as you discover these planets. But
okay, but when you say breadcrumbs, that means it's not that there's not going to be much of it. It's going to be sprinkles here and there.
The question is, I take it back to something like Mass Effect. I remember when that came out.
Yes, everyone's comparing it to Mass Effect.
All these different planets, and ultimately there wasn't a lot to do on the vast majority of them. So with Starfield, when we think about these 1,000+ planets, of course we want to go out and explore the galaxy. We want to see all of these things. But when I get to these procedural planets, is there really going to be things there to do that are worth my time? Other than maybe there's a resource here, there. Is it all just handcrafted, or will there be procedural things that we could discover on these planets as well?
Exactly. That's a very good point. There's 1,000 planets. I don't just want to be traveling to a specific planet just because there's this particular resource I need there, but there's nothing else to do besides that. Is there something to discover there? Is it going to be worth your time, worth your while to go to those planets and explore those planets, because you're going to find something great, or find something unique? Because I know what they said in the Starfield Direct is that it's basically the universe is there for you to do what you want and for you to explore, for you to find things that no one else would find. So that's a pretty good question. I don't want to just be traveling to planets to collect resources because that specific planet holds that specific resource I need, but there's nothing else to do. Come on. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be an incentive to go to these planets and explore further, except for going there to just get a particular resource that you need to progress in the game. That's going to be boring. I'm sorry for that.
The $1 million question as it comes.
Yeah, exactly.
Great question. One that we honestly struggled with early in the project. We wanted to do the planets because we like to give you that choice. Where do you want to go? You feel like you would want that choice in a game like this. And so first it was...
But there's got to be that incentive. If I'm going to go to that planet, am I going to discover something unique? Is there something on that planet that is worth my time going to it, not just to collect resources? I want to go there, I want to discover something, is an abandoned factory, a warehouse, or whatever, and you go in there and you find some secrets, some loot to it and things like that, why it was abandoned, things like that,
Technically, could we pull it off? And, we did technically be able to, draw these planets, make them feel believable on the screen. Now, obviously, it's procedural. Okay, so there's no way we're going to go and handcraft an entire planet. What we do is we handcraft individual locations, and some of those are placed specifically, obviously the main cities and other quest locations. And then we have a suite of them that are generated or placed when you land, depending on that planet. Now, I'll also say for us, we view it as giving you, when you look at a system, here's the menu of things you could do. And like science, and we're pushing it, about 10% of those planets have life on them. Again, we're pushing it to the edge of what do people think, what planets are in that Goldilocks zone versus planets that have resources.
Right.
I think it is a moment when you land on some of these barren planets. And again, we will generate certain things for you to find on them. But if you look at a planet, you see the resources, it has things you want. There is, I love the Buzz Aldrin quote, the magnificent desolation. I think there's a certain beauty to landing on those and feeling I'm one of the only people or the only person to ever visit this planet.
Yeah, you see that there we go.
It's a difficult design thing. If you add too many things, if it's generating too many abandoned bases or towers or things to find, it starts feeling too gamey in some of those locations. So I think we've dialed that in.
That's a game.
Pretty well, depending on the planet that you're on. And so we hope everybody enjoys it for what it is. But it is an exploration different than we've had, where you're landing, you're exploring around that landing spot, and then you're probably going somewhere else.
Okay, so what I got from that is the planets will be procedurally generated. But there will be sections like, say, for example, like you said, an abandoned city or something like that. They will be handcrafted on specific planets, will be sprinkled on specific planets, and those will be the points of interest that will be handcrafted for those specific planets that you can go and explore. But most of the planets will be procedurally generated with only certain sections on those planets, or should I say certain sections of the map that will be procedurally, that will be, I mean, not procedurally generated, that will be handcrafted. And those will be the points of interest where you can go and explore, and you'll find more lore. You'll find probably legendary aliens in that, or boss fights and things like that. That is interesting. But like he's saying, I don't know what he said about the 10% of the planets only has life on. That is crazy. That is, I mean, so you have 1,000 planets, 10%. Ah, man, whoa. I can't work the math out right now. But yeah, damn. That is crazy. That is a bit crazy. But okay, so that's the gist of it from what I understand. So the planets won't. So what from our furthermore, what I understand from this, the planets won't be vast. Like you can go and explore the entire planet, to walk around the entire planet. No, it's not going to be that. There's going to be sections on the map where you, like I said, where you land, and you can explore sections around where you land, and then go to certain other places on the planet, which would probably be the handcrafted sections, points of interest that you can go and explore further. But it doesn't mean that the whole planet is going to be accessible to you. I mean, so there's got to be some limitations. But if they can make those points of interest that have been handcrafted interesting enough, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But I don't just want to be going to a planet to collect a particular resource. No, there's got to be something interesting there. Okay, we got to add the diversity of exploration.
That, and I don't mean to dominate the conversation, but I think it's relevant here when we're talking about planets. Again, I've probably watched this like 1,000 times at this point. So one thing that I did notice was some planet biome diversity. You seem to highlight one planet where we did see different biomes on that particular planet. Now, I'm not expecting that on every planet, but this is something that you're conscious of, that you're doing in the game. And it leads me to two questions. I'm just thinking the size of some of these planets. Is there really going to be this giant map that we're going to be able to explore across different biomes and find obviously interesting things?
Okay, he's raising exactly what I just said now, that I don't think the worlds will be massive to explore. Like the whole world is not going to be accessible for you to explore. Instead, there will be points where you land. There will be a map, and then certain more sections that you can go off and to explore. But yeah, so he's asking basically how vast the maps will be.
And resources and creatures. But the other part of this is, and this comes to more to just the diversity of the planets. When I think about gravity, temperature, radiation, things like this, are we going to have to prepare ourselves to actually be able to land on some of these planets and explore them? Or is it just going to be, if I can get to the planet, I can land and do whatever I need to do?
There's a lot there. But
they put, yo, they putting Todd on the spot, eh?
We have a lot of biomes. We do look at temperature. We look at the radiation. We look at all of those things on a planet so that your suit and your protection, you can get certain ailments if you're not ready, and certain weather things can come through with all of that. So there are obviously planets that might have one type of biome, and there are planets that have a whole bunch, and their creatures and the plants and everything go with the biome. So there's a whole part of the game where surveying a planet, like discovering all of the flora and fauna and resources. Planets also have traits, usually geological things that are inherent to that planet, and uncovering those. And if you fully survey a planet, that data is actually worth a lot of money, credits in the game that you can sell. So there's a whole part of the game that's really just doing that. It's a little more, I almost describe it Zen-like.
Okay, so it's not just about scanning things just to open the digest of the game to know what this and that is. You can actually sell the information and get coins for it. That's cool. So you can sell information, get currency, and then you can use that currency to upgrade your ship, upgrade your armor, buy new weapons and things like that. That is pretty cool. That's cool to know. That's a cool fact to know there.
No, you get on a planet where the creatures there, some of them can be aggressive, where it can get dangerous if you're exploring the planet. And you can watch the creatures. We've actually had a problem at times with the predator creatures going and killing all of the more peaceful creatures you're coming across.
Wow.
Why are they all dead? And then you realize there's something dangerous in the area.
Yo.
So I would say this, that we we do everything that you mentioned, and we really try to mix it up and spend a lot of time
Okay, I'm looking
balancing
at the
that.
different sort of
So it is
creatures.
fun minute to minute, but you also know what you're getting into.
Todd, I want to.
Okay, so what he's saying is when you survey the planet before you land, you'll know exactly what you're going to get into because it'll probably give you a brief explanation of what you can expect on the planet, what beasts, what aliens you can expect, things like that. Oh, but then, no, I don't think that because then you have to actually scan the alien life on the to get the weakness and things like that. So I don't know.
Talk about the plants and the creatures. I guess I'll start with the creatures really quick. Of course, some iconic Bethesda creatures: the Deathclaw, the dragons, and Elder Scrolls. Is there going to be a special creature in this, or will there be so many that there's not just one that we all point to and say, "Oh wow, that was the bad one"?
You mean like a legendary?
I mean, there's a few bad. There's one really bad one. There's a few, but you have to play it.
Okay, I like that. And then one of the most asked questions was, Todd, we land on these planets and people are blown away by the size and the scope of things. Is there a land vehicle or an option to maybe mount some of these wild?
There we go. I actually missed the second part of his question. He asked if there's going to be a land vehicle, and he also asked, will you be able to mount alien life form, which would be cool, like a horse, like a horse, like in Valhalla, where we could mount a lion and things like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not the answer we wanted, but here it goes.
To use as a land transportation mode of transport.
Yeah.
There is not. We do design it. I think when we've seen this with our other games where we want to design it so it feels good on foot, but we do have the boost pack. You saw some of that in the video.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you have skills for the boost pack. So the boost pack.
I had someone comment on one of the previous videos that the boost pack is gonna be it's gonna be a mode of transportation to help you traverse these planets and maps. Yeah, it seems that is the case. But this also leads me to believe that because there won't be land vehicles, there won't be another mode of transportation besides fast travel points and that the maps might not be that vast. They might not be that big. And given everything you said now before this, you can explore the sections around where you landed and then go into certain other sections to explore, makes me believe that the maps are not going to be that vast because you're going to be on foot the entire time. I don't think it's going to be that big. But then again, you look at games like Skyrim and Fallout, there were massive maps that you could basically walk anywhere. Let's see. It's pretty disappointing. I was hoping we could have had a land vehicle, or you could actually mount, that you could tame and mount some of these wildlife aliens, and you could tame them, and you could ride them, as a like a horse or whatever. That would have been pretty cool, pretty great, but unfortunately that's not the case. I think it's a missed opportunity since they have third person as well. It could have worked great, but I think there's a missed opportunity there. It would have also been great to be able to have a land vehicle, and then you can modify it. You can change it up how you want it, and so I think it's a missed opportunity for a game, especially for a game like this. But oh well. Is it going to make me not want to play the game? Certainly not. But it is a disappointment, and I think it's a missed opportunity.
Almost acts like this vehicle. It's super fun where you can fly through, and then the low gravity planets are.
Yeah, but then again, they showed in the Starfield Direct that the boost pack was a skill tree that you had to unlock, and you can build upon to make it, better. But that's the thing: is it unlockable from the start when you start the game, or is it something that you have to unlock down the line? That is a question that I think there's something he needs to answer, because the way they represented it in the Starfield Direct, when they showed the skill tree of the boost pack, it looked like something you had to unlock. It was a skill tree, and something you had to build upon.
Really, really something special in the game.
That's awesome.
So if I could pivot this into companions, question about that as far as companions.
Oh yeah, we go
crew
to the
members,
companions.
and some of the individual skills that they're going to have in the direct. It was clear that you'll have some crew members, you'll have some that you can station at an outpost. But I'm curious, even with that, will we have the option to just play the game solo without any companions or crew members, or is that going to be a necessity as we're playing through the game? And along those lines, can crew members on their own, through our own decisions, decide I don't want to do this anymore and they leave?
Okay, a few ones there. First, the companions are awesome. Our team's done a really, really great job with them, and there's a lot of great depth there with the main companions. But
Okay.
we do support where,
Oh,
if you don't want
yeah, what he says is there's a lot of depth with the main companions. So in my mind, don't expect there to be depth with side characters. That is not main companions. There'll probably be a small mission or two to do for them, but at the same time, you're going to get those loyalty quests, those big missions that play through that have an effect on the main campaign with the main companions only.
to do that, there's traits that really make you, I want to play by myself. And then there's also skills that go into that give you special perks and bumps if you are solo. Them leaving on their own, they can, depending on the choices you make, they can get angry with you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then the relationship that you
Yeah.
have with the companion can change based on the decisions you're making in the game.
Yeah, they could be a conflict of interest based on a particular tough decision you had to make. They don't stand with that. They could be upset with you. That is great. That I mean, come on. I'm losing my train of thought here, but that is great. I love games that have consequences for choices that you make. And come on. That's going to be interesting. But I will say this. I want interesting and great loyalty missions for the game, for the companions. That will make the relationship stronger between you and your companions, makes it better. So I don't want flimsy, loyalty missions that were just pulled out of the end. I want something great, original, and that has depth. He has promised that there will be depth with the main companions, not with other companions that you go and hire from outposts and things like that. With the main companions, he said there will be depth. That is good.
My companions, Todd, can I space them and take them and make them walk the plank on my spaceship?
You can leave them behind. You can tell them where to go. You can assign them. You can assign them to outposts. You can assign them to ships that you're not using and things like that.
I have a fun one coming in from the community. Courtney writes in and says, are the Constellation companions the only ones that are able to be romanced? A lot of people very excited about romancing NPCs. What is the breadth of that? Is there a wide range?
The 4 main Constellation ones are the ones that support full quest lines for them and romance.
Great.
Oh, so you see, it's only the 4. So there's 4 main ones. Like you said, he confirms again that has main storyline quests. So there is depth there, and you can romance. I'm still sure you can romance like side NPC characters and things like that. Like they did with Cyberpunk and Witcher, and that where you meet the side characters. You could probably have like a one night stand with him or so on. But having like actual relationships with the 4 main companions.
Also, I had another great one. Someone wrote in and said, could my crew on my ship be all robots?
Yeah,
I'm still can I go space fishing? And you realize that
it's a Skyrim, right? So
yeah, I think we've got everything there.
And
Music,
it's something you kind of base a lot of things off of.
To Todd,
yeah, was something interesting about the spaceships.
One question I had was about shipbuilding, and I'm trying to keep this limited. Also, the ships that you acquire. So obviously, we saw during the direct, you can build your own ships. You can let your imagination go wild.
Yep.
You mentioned in there that to reach the far reaches of the galaxy, you will have to upgrade your ship, along the way, which makes total sense. But me wanting to live out my space pirate fantasy in the game, if I'm acquiring certain,
this is going to be one of the best parts of the game.
Or a quote unquote steal one.
Yeah.
Are those ships locked in at whatever quote unquote stats that they have at that time, or are they
can you upgrade them
ways as well?
They're all upgradable.
This is
they go through the same,
but
we built those ships with the builder that
you
all saw in the direct. When you steal one, we do make you register it. If you want to modify it
Okay.
or use it in those ways, you have to spend credits to go register it.
Ooh.
And that's for us to keep it from the economy kind of spiraling
Okay.
in those ways. You can fly it around, but if you
Yeah,
want
but
if you want to mess with it, you register it, and then you go through that whole loop of upgrading it. I will say that that's a very deep system, and one that we expect for late game. It's not like you start the game
okay.
and then you're going to get
Yeah,
right
yeah,
into
yeah.
shipbuilding.
No, that makes
It
sense.
costs a lot of credits.
Damn,
It
costs a lot
is,
of
in a
credits.
good way, a very complicated system, and one that it was more of a longer term thing in the game. You can easily upgrade your ship.
Gotta
Just go
register
in
it.
and say, I want to improve these weapons. I want to improve the grav drive or the shields. That's very, very easy to do. But where you go in that mode and you break it apart and you're building, that is a whole mode onto itself that is more of a long term play kind of thing.
Damn. Okay.
That actually leads me into, this is more of a fun question, but we saw this in the direct as well. And if you don't want to answer it, I completely understand. But if I'm going to New Atlantis and they scan my ship and
Oh,
I
yeah,
do
these.
have contraband, what happens?
You don't have to wait.
Remember, I raised this in my reaction to the Starfield Direct, and my question was, I know it's something little, but they scan the ship, and it says scan successful, no contraband. So what happens if you have contraband? And Todd Howard just says
All right.
you have to wait and
Let's
see. So I'm expecting something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. You probably will be blocked from landing on the planet or in the city because of the contraband. You have to get rid of it, or you might be put on a wanted list. Who knows? It's interesting, and I know it's a little thing, but I think it adds a lot of depth to the whole space thing. You know.
I feel like that modular shipbuilding stuff is really cool. I can see people getting totally lost in that.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I'm right in thinking maybe this was addressed in the direct. I don't know, but like once you build your ship, you're designing kind of the internal layout of the ship that you'll walk around in as well. Is that correct?
Oh, this is
Yeah, it comes with it. So you have these
Wow.
modules, and
Okay.
they come with the inner parts as well. And then when you click them together, and obviously you saw it, there are different modules for different things. So that gives the ships a really, really unique feel. And I'll say when we
Okay, so the models you choose already has a specific layout, but you gotta match it correctly when you put it together so that so it creates the layout of the ship as well, how you walk inside the ship, because you can walk inside the ship and then explore inside the ship. Pretty cool. Although it doesn't sound like you can actually customize the inside of the ship. It's dependent on the things you chose when you're upgrading the ship, and that determines the layout.
designed the game originally, when you go into sci-fi, we sort of start with what kind of spacesuit do we want? What does that look like? What do the weapons look like? And it took us a long time on ships because there's so many ships in games. And how do we do them where they look cool, but they feel believable,
Yeah.
where you can draw
Faster than light. This is how we're able to communicate faster than light.
gravity
Yeah,
from
we got all
today.
that. Oh, yeah,
the
we go.
Xbox Series X, and of course PC's continuing
Here
to
it
push
comes.
the level of tech for game developers like yourself and the team.
The $1 million
What are some of
question.
the benefits you've seen with the Creation Engine 2, maybe Dolby Atmos? Are there things that really stand out to you going, man, I love that we can utilize this, or I can't wait for the future to continue to push this?
We are just so happy with
This is the $1 million
engine. It
question.
took us so long to do. Our tech team, they're wizards, led
Side
by
quest.
Chris
So we got
Rodriguez and Joel Denault. And what we're able to do in the game and have all these things looking amazing and running, from all of the items that we're simulating, and people, spaceships, full planets. Our lighting model is just awesome. The real-time GI. We didn't really show this off, but I'd love to in the future.
Okay, this video is going way longer than expected, but yeah, let's the tech and
Great
performance.
volumetric fog and how that interacts with the lighting. Then you get into the physics, and we start messing with gravity. It gets even crazier. Our quest system, I think people are, there are a lot of open world games now, but I think what really makes ours different is that all these quests are running. It's not like you start a mission and we shut everything down. You can be on dozens of these at once, and that creates a lot of chaos sometimes in our games. We're aware of that, but it also creates these magic moments that we just love and our players love, and I think that's what's really, really special about it.
Well, Todd, that actually leads me into one question that I know the community has been asking a lot since the Xbox showcase. Fantastic interview you did with Ryan McCaffrey, and you did address why Starfield is 30 frames per second. Totally
Yeah, so
understand
he
it,
already
totally get it. I
confirmed
think
it,
Digital
but yeah,
Foundry did a great job
he's
following that up.
confirming it yet
But
again.
my question to you is, was it ever under consideration to potentially do a performance mode that you would take away some of these features like you just talked about with the volumetric fog?
We never looked at taking features away. Our focus is on delivering all of that. Obviously, we've seen all those comments. Digital Foundry, they do an incredible job.
Okay, I still need to watch the interview that he did where he confirmed that unfortunately the game will be 30 FPS, but he gave reasons as to why that is, and that if they have to go with 60 FPS performance mode, they would have to cut back on the experiences of the game. Yeah, it's now I saw this coming from a mile away from the Starfield Direct showcase, where if you watch my previous reaction video, I noted that there were some aspects of the gameplay that was stuttering, that was a bit slow in that, and that led me to believe that there will be some performance issues with this game day one, or that the game is not going to be 60 FPS or higher, that it will be 30 FPS. But like I said, if they can give me a smooth 30 FPS experience, and they keep all these things that they've been promising in the Starfield Direct and what they're promising here, I am willing to let it slide. I'm willing to let the 60 FPS thing slide, but the 30 FPS has to be a smooth experience. And here Todd Howard confirms that it will be a smooth experience.
Job. I don't think they know how everybody in the game industry watches every single one of their videos. They do a fantastic job. And ultimately, look, we boil it down to we wanted the consistency. Game is running great, but we don't want players to ever think about it. We have obviously seen other games that have performance modes, and we lean toward consistency overall, and we talk to our fans and hear that from everybody. So we're feeling really great. Game feels great in your hands. And I would say, look, developers know this, but there are things that you can do to make that look and feel great. Things like motion blur, how fast the game refreshes or reacts to a controller input, all of those things matter to something feeling great. And I can honestly say this is the best feeling game.
Actually, motion blur is not great at all. So
Awesome to hear.
Look, he's saying that the game will run smooth at 30 FPS without cutting back any of the things that they've promised. And he's basically saying that if they had to go with 60 FPS, they had to cut back some of the things. And he wants everyone to have the immersive experience. It's disappointing that it's not going to be 30 FPS, especially because the game is both third person and first person. And first person is best playing at 60 FPS and higher. So it's a bit disappointing. But like I said, if Bethesda can give us a smooth experience at 30 FPS, I'm all for it. And they keep everything that they promised here. And in the Starfield Direct, they keep all that, and all that is true. I'm willing to let slide the fact that it's not 60 FPS. Maybe down the line we'll add a performance mode. Who knows? But yeah, Todd is confirming that there will be that it will be a smooth experience, and that the game feels good. But yeah, I still put on the fence that the game will have some performance issues day one. Most of the games this year, the big games like Jedi Survivor, have all had performance issues on the release, although they are great games. So yeah. Then we had a question about side quests. Basically, when I was watching this, they were the guy in the blue shirt raised the fact that all the side quests, like for example, you have to go and fetch a pan, like in The Witcher 3, you're a bloody badass Witcher, but you have to go and collect a pan. We have to go here, collect that, and you come back and you get the reward of a hat or something like, or a different color in that. And he said he doesn't want a lot of that, so he asked, is there going to be more in-depth, more meaningful side quests? And Todd Out basically said that the game has those types of quests, those single types of quests where you collect something and you get a reward of a hat or something like that, but that there is a majority of more in-depth side quests and that will get the player more invested. I think every game has that nowadays, and unfortunately Starfield also has it, but okay. as long as there are better games, and then you confirm that this game is made for modders. Modders are going to love it. They're going to enjoy it, which is great. And then Outposts, yeah, we talk about Outposts, is that it generates income for you and things like that. And then, yeah. Anyway, so main points is there won't be a on-land vehicle to travel. You can't mount alien life forms as a horse or things like that to get around in the maps. Makes me believe that the maps will not be as vast or big as possible based on everything that Todd Howard just confirmed here in. We know that the game is going to be a 30 FPS. Yeah, there's a lot to digest, guys. Let me know with what you've heard here. What is the most disappointing thing that has been confirmed here? What is the most interesting thing? And given the disappointments and the things to look forward to, are you still excited for this game? Do you think it's going to be a W? I know it still is, but I'll do a separate video on the performance, the 30 FPS versus 60 FPS discussion. I'll do a different discussion video on that. But yeah, so the way I see this, the way Todd Howard was explaining things, he was explaining things not to give too much away and not to overpromise things. So yeah, but anyway, guys, let me know down in the comments below if you're still excited for Starfield. I know I am. It's going to be one of the biggest games of the year. As always, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more discussion videos and more live streams. And I will catch you on the next video. Rampage out. Peace.